Welcome back. Our roundtable, Ebony Reed, Deputy Metro Editor at Detroit News, and Kimberly Hill, Political Science Professor, examining actually a report from Yale University, and of course other previous reports that have indicated that educated black women are finding it difficult to find a married mate. Before we went on a break, talked about this notion of the search for higher education. Does it in fact cheat, the black woman out of seeking maybe a stable relationship or a potential great relationship? Ebony?
I don't think it, cheats black women out of seeking a relationship. It may change their ambitions. It may expose them to other things, and they may say, I want to travel, or I want to achieve a certain level of success in my career before I get married. It may cause them to question what their goals are. They may say, well, I'm not even sure that I want to get married. So I wouldn't necessarily say it cheats them. I think education provides black women with a lot of different opportunities.
And, also education is equated with attaining a higher level of income. And so that's another reason why for African American women it's important, you want to marry somebody.
Is that a reality though?
Well, I think that it can be a reality.
Right.
I don't think that it's a generalized statement, but we know, reportedly, the higher your education is, the more likely it is, you're going to have a higher income. And so that is another reason that I think, educated black women certainly would appreciate, or would not necessarily turn their nose up or turn down someone who's attained the same level of education.
Well, and you, before we went on a break, you talked about, you gave a brief history, the analysis of the struggles of black women. And we'll definitely have to do a show on the black man as well, because there's this book written by Al Ofari Hutchinson out of California called The Assassination of the Black Male Image, and where he goes in depth into, just how the black man has been, metastasized. But what I want to know from you is, where do we go from here with this, how do we... This is a problem. It's a socio-economic problem. It's a sociological problem in our community. And the direct effect is that it has an impact on the black family. I mean, there have been reports that have come out that suggest that perhaps, a child has a tendency or the potential to do better in a home with two parents than in a single home, which actually I don't believe. I didn't come from either homes. But the question is, this is it's a socio-economic issue. It's a sociological issue, because you raise the issue of incarceration. How do we deal with this?
Well, I think, it will have to start with the children, that are in school now. I mean, there has to be an emphasis in the black community for the importance to stay in school. I mean, and that has to be pushed from when the child is little, because by the time they get to high school, it's almost too late to expect that you're going to turn things around. You really have got to get the kids at the elementary level. I think that is really key, particularly as we turn our eye to the next generation, for all children, and specifically for black children.
And also, I think that we perhaps need to explore other options, as many black men have done. In terms of, and
when I say black men who have explored other options, I'm not putting you on the spot, but
let me clarify other options. I mean, other options in terms of race. I don't think that,
you think that's the way out?
No, I'm not saying that's the way out, but I'm saying that is an option. Because if there are men who are interested and who are perhaps appeasing to educated black women. And all I'm saying is that they're not always necessarily going to be African American men. I think another way, another issue that we have to deal with is the issue of balance, and black women understanding that and black men too, but really black women understanding the importance of education, but also it's okay to want to be involved in a romantic relationship. And so you never know where you're going to meet your husband. You may meet him at work, but oftentimes men are attracted to women who are doing things outside of work, who are operating in their purpose. And so I believe that when all of these things come together, I believe the right person will come, and you want somebody who can readily embrace your purpose, readily embrace what it is that you enjoy doing, your sweet spot.
Ebony, you think exploring other races is a liberating, is a vindication, is a way to go?
Well, I certainly, do think it is an option for black women who find themselves in a situation where you know, they don't think that they have enough options within their own community. I also think, you know, that there isn't anything wrong with black women who are educated becoming single parents if they choose to adopt a child. We have a lot of children in this country, in Wayne County particularly, that are African American, that, you know, need good homes. And I think that there isn't anything wrong with a black woman who, you know, has her job and her career and her education saying, you know, I haven't met Mr. Right yet, but, you know, I may choose to go ahead and have my own family and adopt a child that's in need. So,
Kimberly, you agree?
And I think that also, yeah, you know, I think that adoption is a good option. I don't think it would be one that I would, you know, pursue, because to me that's still a single parent, and you just think about all of the challenges of raising, being a single parent and raising a child. And I was fortunate enough to come from a two-parent family, so I certainly know the benefits of that. But I do think that it perhaps could be an option. But also what I wanted to say is that a lot of times men are attracted to the image of success, but they're not attracted to what it takes to maintain that image. And so I think there's a lot of soul searching. There's a lot of, I think there's a lot of different things that both men and women need to do to change that statistic.
And let me give you something to laugh off with off the program as we round this up. In 20 seconds, your personal experience, is that what happens, that men are attracted to the image of success?
I do think that men are attracted to the image of success. I would agree with Kimberly.
And you can speak from personal experience?
To an extent, yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely, they're attracted to the image of success. And I think that's, you have to be very cautious with that, because do they really like you for you, or do they like you for, you know, who you have access to and what you've achieved over the period of your life?
We can spend 3 hours. We can have a huge symposium on this subject, but I do promise we're going to do something on the state of the black man. I think it's important within the context of this conversation. And thank you very much, Ebony Reed, Deputy Metro Editor for the Detroit News, and Kimberly Hill, Political Science Lecturer. That brings us to the end of this week's edition of Center Stage. And the discussion was Rising Above the Wedding Ring, Educated Black Women and Singlehood, based on a report from Yale University.
But we do want to get married. Now, I do. But now,
That's
we're
right.
rising above the wedding ring.
Okay.
But
wedding ring with a question mark. Okay, good. They do want to get married. They made it clear. See you next week.